In this video, I am going to talk about the troubleshooting of the IPv4 networks, IPv6 networks, and some technologies related to IPv4 and also IPv6. Here we have a simple scenario. In this simple scenario, as you can see, we have a LAN, PC1, PC2 are residing in this LAN, and also we have a default gateway. And after that, we have DHCP in this network, and finally a web server in the internet, for example. Now we have a trouble ticket. This is the first trouble ticket, ticket 1. And the problem is that the PC1 doesn't have connectivity to the web server. PC1 is not able to access resources on the web server 192.0.2.1. Why? We should find the reason. We should solve the for example problem. Look at here. First, let me to verify the status. In the command prompt of PC1, we are trying to send traffic to the 192.0.2.1. You should ensure that the problem exists. Look at here. As you can see, we don't have connectivity from the PC1 to the router 1. If you want, you can save the results here. Look at here. From the PC1 to the destination web server to the 192.0.2.1, the result is not okay. It is the first result. Let me to check the connectivity from the PC1 to the router, to the R1, to the default gateway. Let me to check it again from the PC1. This is PC1, ping 10.1.1.1. As you can see, we have connectivity. This means that this is okay. Until now, we have gathered two important information about the connectivity of the PC1. PC1 has connectivity to the router 1, and also the PC1 doesn't have connectivity to the web server. The reason may be related to the some features that we have in the router 1, for example, to the ACL. Maybe the router 1 with one ACL filters the traffic of PC1, or maybe this is related to some other features such as the NAT. Why? Because you know that here in the router 1, when we have connectivity between the PC1 and router 1, this means that in the switch we don't have any problem. For example, we don't have the port security problem, or maybe the other features such as the IP DHCP snooping, IP ARP inspection, IP source card, and some other things. Because we have connectivity to the router 1, this means that to the router 1 we don't have any problem. The problem is related to the R1 between the PC1 and to the web server. Let me to check connectivity from the PC2. Why we should try to send traffic from the PC2? The reason is that in most cases, we want to find that the problem is a local problem, means in only PC1, but this is a global problem, means the problem is available in all of the networks. This is a good practice. Assume that you are going to one room and one of the PCs has problem to connectivity to each one place. Maybe the first things that you should do is the checking the connectivity from another computer in the same place. Why? Because we want to see that all computer have this problem, or only one computer has this problem. Let me to show you. This is the PC2. From the PC2, we are trying to send traffic to the 192.0.2.1. Okay, we have connectivity. This means that from the PC2 we don't have problem. Also ping to the gateway, again we don't have any problem. This means that the problem related only to the for example the PC1, and PC2 doesn't have any problem. This means that, for example, about the routing, about some other things that in the router 1 we don't have any problem. And now it's the good time for verifying everything from the scratch. For example, you should verify the IP addressing. Maybe in the PC1 we don't have default gateway. You know that we can send traffic to router 1, okay, and we can use we have connectivity. But if you don't configure the default gateway in the PC1, or correct default gateway in the PC1, you will not have connectivity to the outside of the network. Okay, because of that, the first thing that you should check is the default gateway IP address, okay, and also the availability of this IP address. And also you should ensure that the default gateway is residing in your network, not in another networks. Let me to check it in the PC1. It is so easy with the ipconfig/all or ipconfig. You can find the IP address and also default gateway. ipconfig is good command. Look at here, the IPv4 address of the PC1 is 10.1.1.10. It is okay. The mask is 255.255.255.192, and the gateway is 10.1.100. Here we have a problem, as you can see. Why? Because the IP address of the default gateway is the 10.1.1.1. Let me to show you. This is the router 1 configuration. Okay, here let me to show you. show IP interface brief. The IP address of the ETH00 is 10.1.1.1. This is the problem that we have. Also in the PC2, let me to check the PC2. This is PC2, and here in the PC2, if you check the IP config, you can see that the default gateway is 10.1.1.1. Because of that, the PC2 doesn't have any problem. Let me to correct this problem. You can go to the network interface card, okay, and because of that, here we can configure the default gateway. This is the manual configuration 10.1.1.10 255.255.255.192, and then the gateway should be configured to 10.1.1.1. That's it. Okay, and then okay, and then close. Now we can check the status. Maybe this is the only problem. Maybe we have more than this problem, another problem. For example, ping to the 192, okay, 021. As you can see, we have the connectivity. This means that the only problem is the incorrect IP address of the default gateway, that we found it and we solve it. Because of that, in this trouble ticket, we have learned that when we have connectivity to the address of the default gateway, but when we didn't configure the correct IP address of the default gateway, finally we will not have connectivity to the outside of the network. This is the first thing that we should know, and after that we should solve it. Let me to talk about the trouble ticket 2 in this scenario again. This is the trouble ticket 2 with the same topology and also same problem. PC1 is not able to access resources on web server 192.0.2.1. What is the reason? We should again think to everything from the scratch, because here we have another problem. Let me to start with trying from PC1 to check connectivity from PC1 to web server. Here we have the PC1. In the command prompt, I'm going to use ping 192.0.2.1. As you can see, we don't have connectivity. Okay, and then let me check from the PC2. In PC2 here, as you can see, ping 192.0.2.1. Again, we don't have connectivity. This means that now we have a problem related to the network. PC1 doesn't have connectivity, and also PC2 also doesn't have connectivity. Let me to check the connectivity between the PC1 and also the default gateway. Here in the PC1, for example, we can send traffic to the 10.1.1.1. As you can see, we don't have connectivity to the default gateway also in PC1 and also in the PC2. Let me to check ping 10.1.1.1. Again, we don't have connectivity. This means that now our problem is a huge problem, because we don't have connectivity to any place. Okay, for all of the connectivity now, as you can see, we have problem. Okay, we should first check the IP addressing in the PC1 and also PC2. For example, we can use the PC1 here, IP config. Okay, in IP config, as you can see, we have the APIPA range 169.254. This is the APIPA range, means the computer tries to take IPv4 address from the DHCP, but because the try is unsuccessful, okay, was unsuccessful, because of that now the computer is using the APIPA, and with APIPA range, automatic private IP addressing, this range 169, we can send traffic only inside of this network. We cannot use traffic with this range to the outside of the network. This is the problem. Why? Because we don't have IP address. Because of that, we should find the problem related to the IP addressing, and you know that here we are using the DHCP. Why? Because after using the DHCP and not finding the DHCP server, we are using the auto configuration. The problem related to the DHCP, you know that because the DHCP is residing in another network, we should have the IP helper address on the interface of router 1 on the ETH00. Okay, let me to check the IP helper address. Maybe the IP helper address does not available, or maybe the IP address of the DHCP configured incorrectly. Let me to check it. In the router 1, it is so easy. We can check the show run interface ETH00. This is the interface that connected to the PC1 and PC2. The IP address of the DHCP is 172.16.110, and here we have the IP helper address. This is correct, but as you can see, the IP address of the DHCP configured incorrectly. We should correct it. Okay, this means that now we are sending our